I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Loring. Here. Mr. Schulte. Here. Mr. Vanderhoof.
Here.
Mr. DeBoer.
Here.
And Mr. Helmers is here. Consider approval of a May 22, 2026 agenda.
We don't have any changes.
Yeah, I'll make a motion on the agenda.
I'll second it.
I have a motion from Schulte, support from DeBoer. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. May 12th, 2026 minutes. Everybody have a chance to look at those?
Motion to approve the minutes.
A motion from Loring to approve the May 12th minutes.
Support that motion.
Support from Vanderbilt. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. June schedule.
It has to be the 9th and the 23rd.
I will not be available the 9th. College orientation for my son, so.
But we have to meet that day because we have to canvass the election, so we don't have a choice.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Monday,
Guess we just have to
Tuesday.
dock your pay. Somebody wanna make that
I'll make that a motion for the 9th and the 23rd.
a motion from Schulte, support from DeBoer? Yep. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Discussed EMS director position. Sandy, I guess you're up.
Alright. So, I'm not really for sure what you guys are looking for. I'm gonna pass those out. As you guys know, we haven't really found anybody. The director's position is a little, it's a little complicated, only because, first of all, you need somebody to live here in our county, possibly in Sibley. It is out there, every service around us knows that my position is open. The state knows it's open. Unfortunately, we cannot pay somebody to do this position on the wages that we're giving them. As you can see, the yellow, those are the shifts that I take just in May. Normal work for normally people only work 168 hours a month. That's 416 hours that I will be putting in the month of May. And Rochelle or Christy can tell you that that's pretty consistent of the shifts that I take. So as you can see, that schedule is the director's schedule. So if she cannot find somebody or there's open spots, then that's their spot. So it's a little tough to have somebody come in and look at that and say, yeah, I want to really dedicate for how much? Anyway, suggestion would be is to sit down possibly with Rochelle or somebody that's way smarter than me and try and hire a couple of permanent part-time people so that they can come in and help take some of these shifts, which would allow the director's position to look a little bit more comfortable, where they can actually have some time off. Again, we have to look at the budget, we have to figure out how we are gonna get money in there to possibly hire, somebody as a straight wage. That you can't hire them and say, oh, you're gonna get $3 an hour to just sit there at the garage. You're gonna have to pay them a straight wage. So, and that's gonna be costly, probably. I'm not for sure. Like I said, we have to sit down and really do some number crunching to figure this thing out. But
Do they have to be paramedics?
you should absolutely have to have paramedics, because what we have right now is an ALS service most of the time. So that director is on most of the days, and that's the only time that there's ALS is when I'm on those days. Now, we have some ALS people at night, but, you know, there's a lot that we don't. So in order, you wanna keep that certificate of being ALS. The hospital wants you to keep that certificate as ALS, because a lot of their transfers out of that hospital are advanced life care. So we need those paramedics we have to have, your director at least needs to be a paramedic. You know, it would be wonderful if you could hire part-time people that are at a paramedic level. Obviously, that would be like the cream of the crop. But if we can get some EMTs or advanced EMTs, I think that would really be helpful. You know, and then we can tell, you know, when you hire somebody, you can say, you know, it's nights, weekends, you know, it's not a volunteer position, it's a paid position. So you have a little bit more control of the shifts that they're gonna take. That's a suggestion. I don't know. It's out there for you guys to.
Two part-times, do you feel would be better than one, I mean, full-time, or?
We can try. I mean,
Well, that's-
I think.
You're saying that's in addition to hiring a full-time director?
Right.
Oh,
Yes,
okay, I
on
misunderstood
addition
that.
to, yes, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm.
Is it money, Sandy, or time off?
Pardon?
Is it money or time off?
It's probably a little bit of both. I mean, most paramedics, when they work full-time, you know, like out at, you know, like Lakes Regional, you really, you know, obviously they're a lot busier than, you know, so they do make anywhere between $90,000, but all they're doing is going on calls, coming back, getting that good billable report, and waiting for the next call, you know.
And the hospital runs it, don't they?
Pardon?
The hospital runs it there.
Yes, and the hospital puts in money, and so does the Dickinson County.
Yeah.
So that's how that is supported through that. Mm-hmm, yeah, and it's a lot of money, I'm sure. And they're still short of help, they're still, you know, but I do know that, our service has got a very good reputation. I mean, we get Lakes calling us, you know, probably 2 or 3 times a month to take transfers for them, you know. So does Sheldon, they'll call. I mean, this service in Osceola County could be as busy as they want to be, but unfortunately, you have to have the people. You have to have the people to take the transfer, and you have to have the people to do a backup, to stay behind and say, okay. That's a tough, it's tough.
You don't have to say this if you don't want, but do you feel there's anybody in the,
I don't know.
our people that would be interested in a full-time position?
Yeah, but
Do you think there'd be anybody?
I haven't found anybody that's really, you know, but, I mean, I haven't really asked anybody if they would be interested in like a part-time position, but not, you know, so far nobody's like, well, first thing out of their mouth is, you know, how much does it pay?
When are you looking to be done?
Well, I mean, I'm really feel like I'm dedicated to this only because I've stuck most of my lifetime in it, but, you know, I look at it as if I can just be able to have some sort of cut back a lot, you know, I mean, I don't know.
You want some time off,
Yeah.
yeah.
I would like to be able to go on vacation without getting phone calls like, you know, you don't have anybody covering and, you know, and you're in Joplin, Missouri, and you know you're not gonna make it back by the 6 p.m. shift, you know, so you, yeah. I mean, and my husband's not ready to retire yet either, you know, so it's not like, you know, I'm gonna be rattling around in the house by myself. I could cause a lot of hate and discontent. Too much money, but, so you know, I think for us, for this year, for what we need to do is really try to focus on maybe, I don't know, if you guys are okay with that, I guess, you know, you can not, I'm not asking for a decision today or anything, but you guys can think about it, what you think. Then we'll sit down with maybe the EMS advisory board and get their opinions on it, and then kind of go from there, whatever. But we do have to figure out, you know, like the budget. The money is the big part for me, you know, just to try and find out where we're gonna come up with that extra dollars.
Do you think advertising again would be,
Not here, I only put it in the Iowa EMS Association.
Oh.
That's where a lot of the paramedics, EMTs go to look for jobs. So it's in there.
how did it state it when we advertised last time, or didn't we ever advertise?
Yeah, we went and put it in through the state, and then the state has a website where they list all the jobs. And that's where we got, an applicant the last time, so. I mean, I have people call me or people email me about it, but, you know, no one has really just, I don't think you guys have had, I haven't had anybody, you know, that has asked for an application. I mean, the application is on the county website, you know, so.
Where do you guys wanna go from here? Talk about it and
Yeah.
see what happens? Sandy's not gonna leave us tomorrow or anything, are you? You're not gonna leave us tomorrow or anything, so.
No.
I know we gotta stay on,
No,
but,
no. I told you that before. I will not do that to you. I will not
Okay.
do that to you. I mean,
What if we get the
I just
hospital
think we
involved?
just need to first get us settled here, and then we'll work at trying to get rid of me. It'll be fine.
The next person.
I'll work at getting rid of myself. How about that?
okay, let's,
How many hours was it you put in? How many hours did you put in?
Pardon?
How many hours did you put in? You said 400 and,
Oh, for this month?
yeah,
It is, we'll have done 416 hours at the end of this month. It'll be like 416. So that's like 38 shifts,
yeah.
you know, it's nothing, right?
Yeah.
It's okay.
I don't know, I see a little white car go flying by quite often.
Yeah, it's not a real good, yeah. So it's a little over, but everybody else is volunteered, they've got full-time jobs. You know, it really hurt when, Dan took the full-time position over at the sheriff's office because now he isn't quite as active anymore, so, you know. But, yeah. It'll be-
okay,
But we'll,
keep working at it.
well, we're gonna just keep at it, you guys.
Yeah.
Okay,
It'll work out,
yeah,
it will.
but we better stay on top of it. So-
Yeah, sure. Okay,
Alright, thank you,
Thanks,
Sandy.
Sandy.
Appreciate it. Let's see, is it 9 o'clock? It is 8:59. Oh, we can probably consider approval of reappointment of Mike Lee as Veteran Affairs Commissioner.
I'd make a motion to reappoint him.
Have a motion from Schulte. support from Vanderhoof to reappoint Mike Cleve as Veterans Affairs Commissioner. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Right?
I don't know if there is a length on those, that I don't know.
It is 9 o'clock. We have public hearing to consider the approval of resolution 26-25 budget amendment. I will open the public hearing.
Can I start?
Any comments or anything?
I have not received any.
Any comments from the public here? If not, I would close the public hearing. And I will consider the approval of resolution 26.
Make that motion.
Motion from Lauren. Support. Is that you, Leland?
Yeah.
Support from Mr. DeBoer. Mr. Lauren?
Aye.
Mr. DeBoer?
Aye.
Mr. Schulte?
Aye.
Mr. Vanderhook? Aye. And Mr. Helmer's votes aye. We approve the resolution number 26. We can move back up to consider approval of Bogie fireworks for a fireworks permit for the Melvin celebration.
You told me they would like it for June 19th, I think is when you're gonna do the fireworks.
Yep.
Nick didn't have a problem with it, cause it's conservation board, he said they didn't, and then as long as they clean up and everything afterwards, the conservation board didn't have a problem with
I
it.
talked with Nick about that too, so.
Make a motion for that approval.
A motion from Vanderhook,
Support.
support from Lauren, any more discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Consider approval of Bus Events LLC Class C retail alcohol license. That's also with, to do with the Melvin celebration.
They've always had that in the past, haven't they?
What's that?
They've always had that in the past, haven't they?
Melvin?
Yeah.
They don't have celebration, so no,
Just for the 100.
it's just the 125th.
Okay.
They don't have enough people to run a beer garden or something, so they just decided to hire this outfit for the celebration, so.
Motion for the approval.
Support.
I have a motion from Vanderhoof for approval of that, support from Schulte. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Kyle? Got a minute? Consider approval of road closure for Melvin.
Good morning.
Morning.
It's, no, just a minute, we're not ready for you. It's Kyle out
Oh,
there?
I thought you said, no.
Kyle.
Oh, my hearing's not real good.
You can still sit here.
I'm sorry. I can't hear that either.
Kyle, you're up for the road closure, you and Keith can
Hi.
comment, or however you wanna do it, so.
Okay, so you guys okayed for us to block the mile east and west of Melvin for the parade on June 20th? Now some of the locals are wanting to know if we can shut, a block off south of the four-way stop. So that family and stuff can go to the city park and a lot of traffic can walk from the Legion. Is kind of what they're thinking, and they wanna know what options there could be to not barricade, but put something up a mile south to slow truck traffic down, and we still want people to come in, but we don't want heavy road traffic. If that makes sense.
So you want a truck detour or something?
Kinda. or we're looking for options.
We don't have any in-house signage for truck detour. So I mean, the best, most of what we have would be, you know, road closed, local traffic only type things. That might cause trucks to divert if they don't think they can get through. So we can put, you know, road closed, local traffic only at the mile intersections. Otherwise, you'd be looking at some sort of custom sign.
Sure. Like, we're game for whatever, just wanna know what your guys' thoughts were on it. And you can talk about it and get back to me later, but this was making,
Well, I think we could figure out something today, can't we?
Yeah, let Keith figures
Yeah, I
it
don't
out.
have any problem with any closures if it's just for a day for a celebration, that's fine.
okay,
It'll be just on that Saturday, right, Kyle?
yes. Yeah,
would think
Saturday,
that-
June 20th.
Is that an all-day celebration?
Well, yeah,
Is it
it'll-
evening and
yeah.
late evening?
Yeah,
Okay.
It's at midnight.
yeah. Right,
Yeah, and I think we spoke before, you know, if your people would pull the signs at the end of the day, then.
absolutely, if we knew that, everybody's okay, just
Yeah,
tell us, hey,
yeah, just pull off to the side and then we would pick them up the next day. or
I would
the
think
next
the
time.
local traffic only would be sufficient.
That's kinda what
I
I
would think
thought.
the local traffic only would be sufficient, I don't know.
I think that would probably help divert trucks, it may not divert every truck.
But if we wanted to have a truck sign, we could do that on our own and just attach it to the.
Yes,
Something through neck or
Yeah,
through
or
your.
it could be a Sharpie. Something. Something just for temporary. Okay, that was all I
I
had.
don't think it would hurt if they would wanna take that extra step, would probably be
Yeah.
beneficial to both,
Which would
both
probably go if
sides.
you guys are okay with that.
You guys wanna make a motion for that?
I will,
And what is the motion?
to put up road closed signs,
Okay.
and if they wanna put a trucks on it, that's fine.
we'll close the road and we'll put up detour signage around the town.
How about blocking the south, a block south of the four-way stop? To completely.
Block south of the stop. But any place we put up a full closure, we have to have alternate routes, so you're saying they would take that.
We'd
road.
have something already a mile south of town, but
And
then
then
actually
full-
ours,
A full closure just north of the four-way stop.
south, 1 block south. So there'd still be the other options to get into town and things.
Okay. Is the point of the full closure from the city limits of Elton, or is that still county?
I think that's county, is what I understand.
County road, but it'd be within the city limits, right?
Yes.
I don't have that necessarily.
Yeah,
Block
if-
south of
if
the
full
stop sign.
closures within the city limits, then that's the decision of the
The
city.
city, which they're fine, but I guess if it's here, I wanna ask.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the city wants to close the road, the county can assist with advanced signing and advanced closures.
So you guys are basically, the mile south, the city can take care of the block.
They can take care of their own city streets.
Okay,
Yeah, they should. Yeah,
gotcha.
if they need to borrow signs from us, they can borrow signs from us.
Sure.
Is that your motion, Mike?
Yep.
Okay. A motion from Schulte? Support from DeBoer? Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you, guys. Absolutely.
Consider approval of fiscal year 25 certification of cost allocation plan.
We do this every year from them, I didn't print the whole plan, but I sent it to you in email. We get, DHS reimburses us on that, so it's, so far, what we reimbursement outweighs what this is costing us. Total reimbursement is about $11,216 that we get, and we pay like $4,000 and for them to do the audit, so.
is $84.97.25 per quarter.
You don't pay him that
Council,
much,
right,
that was
sorry,
$4,000.
cost advisory.
That was $4,000 we paid him once a year. $4,450 that we paid them once a year on this, I had their contract from last time.
I'm curious why this says please out $84.97.
I think that's what we get. I mean, that's what we pay them is $4,450 to do it. So I was reading his letter to the board. Roger's letter to the board.
That's to Lindsay.
I don't know why he has that. This one letter says we get about $11,000 back.
On the back it does 11,260.
Yeah. I'm not for sure what this is, what he's talking about there.
You get this right, Rochelle, or what?
Yeah, I think what he's talking about is an expense report claims that 1/4 of annual direct costs, or 8,000 before, is what we roughly would pay. I mean, our monthly expenses comes up with 33,989. And then they maybe take 1/4 of that, it's around that 8,000 roughly is what he's getting to maybe, is what I'm taking that as, but 1/4 of that amount would be roughly around that 8,000, correct?
So a quarter of
Yep.
that would be reimbursable to us, or that'd be potentially reimbursable to us quarterly. 8,000. Third page, it says 33,989,
Right,
and they estimate a third of that would be claimed.
For 8,000,
Counties would be
yeah.
11,000.
but I think we're only getting 11,216 back.
Okay, I was first reading that was what we needed the budget
Oh.
for, but that's what we could.
Potentially, yeah.
Any more discussion on that?
Is that all for you now?
Make a motion for approval of plan.
I have a motion from Vanderhook for the fiscal year certification of cost allocation plan.
Support.
Support from Schulte. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Consider approval, oh, what time is it?
Quarter after.
Alright. 9:15, discuss allowing alcohol to be served at the fair. Mr. Husingay.
Once again, hello.
You're up.
I don't know I'm here as partially the Fair Board and Mindy Mathers. She is seeking permission or whatever you guys need to approve. We wanna try a beer garden on the fairgrounds, in the grandstands. And, she's got most everything done as far as her licensing and whatever else she needs to do with the state. But she does need verbal permission
Probably need a
from?
motion from the board, cause county owns the property.
Correct.
She has to go through the city would initially approve the liquor license, cause it's within the city limits, but since the county owns the property, she needs permission from the county to do
So I
this.
guess that's what we're asking, if you guys would, this might be a one and done deal, if it don't go, you know, she's not gonna. But we're gonna set up a little beer garden area on the east end of the grandstands, and, you know, it's gotta be
Restricted
a restricted area, and, I guess if you guys are okay with it, we're wanting to try it for a year and see what happens.
Now, does the county need a copy of her dram shop insurance?
The state will, before they even issue it to the city to approve it, they'll have to have everything in order, the dram shop and all of
I
that.
assume this is all online stuff,
It
wasn't
is,
Yeah,
yep,
okay.
it is. She applies and then they have to get their dram shop information to the state.
Do we have to talk to our insurance company to make sure that we're covered? I don't know, I'm just asking.
I don't know what, what's his name, John Barry, a couple summers ago, I don't know exactly, cause the fair board, he took care of everything. I don't know what he did or didn't do, and when he approached you guys, I know it came right down to the, almost too late for him to get approved, but he did. For that 125th party on the fairgrounds, he was out there from the brewery.
That was a separate event from the fair, this
Correct.
one would be during
Yes.
the fair. And the fair board is supportive of this?
Well, we're willing to try it once and see what happens.
I personally have reservations or don't strongly like the idea of mixing the alcohol with the fair events, but is there a way that the fair can get some profit off of this, or a portion of?
Well, we told her we have no idea how this is gonna go, and if she did well or okay, she would be willing to make a donation. And that's kinda what we do with the food vendors. They do okay, they make a little donation. The only one that doesn't give as much as he should would be the Godfather. He makes a killing. But that's, yeah, so we could get a little back, but we might never even recoup her costs, we don't know.
I don't have a problem as long as we're covered.
Any other discussion, questions?
I like the thoughts of trying new things and thinking what could work, what might not work. I shared some reservation.
I'd make a motion to let them, to go ahead and do it.
I have a motion from Schulte to let the fair board have a beer garden.
Second.
So can we put Minnie Nazar's doing business as, or Grace Boutique doing business as Minnie Nazar's, cause I think she needs it specifically.
Okay. Yeah, put her name on there.
So,
I got support from Mr. Loring. Any more discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I don't know which way to go, I'm gonna abstain.
I was, I'm not on the fair board anymore, but I was gonna abstain too, just for being there, so, 2 abstains? I guess it passes.
Pass 2-1.
Okay, got your wish,
Thank you.
you bet. Consider approval of request for proposed process for insurance renewal. Is this where you're gonna have an independent come in, or?
In the past, we had an outside
Yep.
entity prepare what the specs should be like, and then review and make sure they're uniform. I don't remember if they made a recommendation or not. Certainly, clearer process, gets more apples to apples. I would think with our current coverage, if we're satisfied with it, we could just put a request out there for bids and just make sure they're comparable and without going through the RFP process, but.
With our loss
Worth
ratio,
discussing.
I don't know how many people are gonna bid it. Cause our loss ratio is pretty high.
Who would you get to do that? Any ideas? Or just put it out there to see if somebody's,
Put it out there, one of the local entities served in that capacity in the past, then they weren't interested or willing or able to put in a bid because they were serving in that capacity.
or do you wanna just put it out there on bids again?
And if we don't think it's gonna be favorable, maybe it's not worth doing it now, but it just, thought it was worth
Well, I
having the
think-
discussion and not just always going with the same one and never.
I think it's something that should be discussed. I was always told you should switch insurance every 4 to 5 years, but I'm not sure that was good advice or not, but that's what I was told. And like you say, with the loss ratio, I'm not sure where that would put us, but it's not that I'm dissatisfied, but we need to be comparable, you know? Where do you wanna go with this? You wanna put it out there, see if somebody's interested?
It wouldn't be for a July 1 start, I think we'd be looking at July 1 of 27, that would be
Something to
looking
work
for,
on,
so.
right, right.
I guess I'm not trying to kick the can down the street, but
We'll get it done by then.
I wouldn't be opposed to giving it a month or two to think about it a little further and,
Okay,
but that's one thing.
table it for now?
Motion to table it till July. Is that all right?
Yep. Motion from Randy Hook, table it till July. Support from Mr. Loring. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign. Motion carried. It's not 9:30 yet, is it?
Nope.
You guys wanna go through the claims quick?
Find the Boswell Water Service in there this time, number 2034.
Make a motion to pay that.
Support that.
I have a motion from Schulte to pay Osmo Water, support from Mr. DeBoer. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, abstain.
Abstain. Make a motion for approval of the remainder of the claims.
I have a motion from Randy to pay the remainder of the claims. Do I have support?
Support it.
Support from Mr. Warren. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried.
Because I have to sign, don't you? There's payroll register too, I think they serve you.
Wish I got you to sign this one.
I have one for you to sign.
Okay. So you need to sign this one, is it work?
No.
It is 9:30. We have public concern from a county resident. I guess that's you, Mr. Trample, am I saying that right?
Yes, it is. A little short. So I first want to thank you guys for the opportunity you're giving me to speak. I'm just gonna go back and go over a little dialogue and kind of my personal opinion on some things. So, public employees have a responsibility to serve the community with transparency, accountability, and responsiveness. When members of the public raise concerns, ask questions, or seek clarification, it is important that those comments are acknowledged and addressed in a timely and respectful manner. Public trust depends on open communication and a willingness to engage with the people they are serving. Ignoring public concerns can create frustration and weaken confidence in public institutions, while meaningful responses help strengthen relationships between officials and the community. Osceola County unfortunately has a challenging road ahead with declining population trends and ongoing economic and housing development struggles. Because of this, I believe it is important for those working for or representing the county to maintain positive relationships with residents who currently live here. So, for some background information, I'm sure you guys have already heard kind of what my complaint is and where I'm at, but my wife and I, Morgan, live just north of town on L'Oreal Avenue, and we were fortunate enough that the county came through and resurfaced our road last summer. Got a nice smooth road out of it, greatly appreciate that. Shortly after the project was completed, the county came by and installed 4 sets of traverse rumble strips along the stretch of the road as a safety measure. While I support roadway safety improvements, I also believe there should be some level of common sense and consideration for nearby residents. 3 of the 4 sets of rumble strips go against the Iowa DOT's strong recommendation of not placing them within 200 yards of a bona fide residence, the closest being 150 feet from my house. In the days following installation, I was honestly shocked by the amount of noise they created, not only outside my house, but also inside my residence. If anyone wants to come over, I'd be more than willing to provide you a meal and drinks and whatever else, and you can sit on my island and hear what I hear. I also have numerous videos recorded illustrating how one could be frustrated with them. So that's where we started. I initially gave it some time, hoping I could adjust to that. You know, some things that it's new, you don't really know what it is, let's give it some time. When that did not happen, I reached out to Mike O'Connor with the roads department and said, hey, I understand we need something safety related. Can we look at potential options? There's many ways that the Iowa DOT says that you can have a safety device that isn't just a rumble strip. He told me that he was gonna reach out to Mr. Braun and they were gonna maybe explore options. Never heard anything back from either of those two. Week and a half later, I called back into the engineer's office, just wondering if there had been any dialogue that had been given. And during that conversation, I kinda got a sympathy or pity party. Mr. Braun stated that he could hear rumble strips from his own residence, and that the strips on L'Oreal Avenue were within specs. However, his residence is in Okoboji, located more than half a mile from Highway 9's longitudinal rumble strips that not everyone has to hit as they go down the road, but that's a different topic. And additionally, if the strips were truly within specs, why were county employees out there in the days following my conversation, measuring, filling them in, that sort of thing? Nothing was ever said, no conversation was ever had after that. The only thing I heard was I actually got some crap from county employees that I made more work for them having to come out and do that, so that doesn't feel right to me. After that, so that was back in November, kind of put it on the back burner. Snow came, cold came, nothing can really happen. Put it on the back burner, said, let's give it winter time. Pa was going over it, maybe might lighten things up. And I knew that nothing could really happen until springtime anyways. And unfortunately springtime came around, things thawed, and they're still just as aggressive as they were installed. So I sent out an email just so we'd have a paper trail that said, hey, I'd like to formally request someone look into this issue. And as of today, I still have not received a response. So, on April 6th, I had a phone call with you.
Yep.
And you told me that you were going to check in and see what there was. And I said I greatly appreciate some sort of follow-up, just whatever was talked about, if there's potential options, whatever, and still to this day, nothing's been done. So that's kind of where my frustrations are. I understand that we need safety devices, but there's also the Iowa DOT strongly recommends not putting that within 200 yards of someone's residence, and they actually outline other alternative methods. So, I guess this brings me back to my opening comments regarding the responsibility of public employees, and what I feel is one of the responsibilities to communicate and respectfully address the concerns of the public. To be honest, I wouldn't even be here today if someone would have just straight up had a follow-up conversation. Hey, here's what we did, I'm sorry, or hey, here's what we can look at. If it's a flashing sign, I even offered to pay for a flashing sign or to get rid of the issue that has negatively impacted my residents and quite honestly, quality of life. So, to this point, I've only been told that the rumble strips are within specs, so who can I speak to in the county that we can actually have some dialogue about this?
I would just like to respond. I received your email on March 11.
Okay.
I was gonna look into it and received a response explaining why they are where they are and the standards, and that was what the county wanted to do from the engineer. I mistakenly assumed that communication also
Did not.
went to you. I did not look to make sure that you were included, and I apologize for that. I should have made sure that you were made aware. I am hesitant to go against the engineer's approach in uniformity, but if there are alternative standards, we'll certainly opposed to considering them. Cost would be a concern. Anytime a resident wants a change, it's gonna cost the county. If there's
Absolutely.
willingness to participate in that, or if
Absolutely.
there's an assessment process, I guess we'd have to look into that if an alternative was going to be used, but I'm not opposed to further conversation on it.
Okay.
I do apologize for not responding and making an assumption that was incorrect in the response was provided.
I know yesterday I went to Spencer and I paid attention to where rumble strips were with acreages. They're about the same. Cause I was running down blacktops, looking at that. And I didn't get out and measure, but, I don't think they're too much different than what we've got.
They don't have to be used by someone's residence if they're not a required, it's not a law. There's no Iowa DOT law that says that they have to be literally right by someone's residence. I mean, did any of you take the time to drive down my road knowing that this issue is coming to light?
Yeah,
I appreciate you doing that, thank you. Did anyone else?
I did not go over them, and though we were informed they were there prior to construction of your home.
Correct, and they were also seal coated probably over 3 times, and had, mind you, if I would've known that they were gonna be installed right in that location, I probably would've positioned my house in a completely different spot, knowing that they were gonna show up out of the woodwork, like, I didn't even know that they existed prior to me building there. I worked outside multiple hours prior to building the house to know that that's where I wanted to take residence in this county and raise a family, so. And unfortunately, it is very frustrating. Like, I understand if you're outside, if you have to listen to them, but like, I can hear it over my TV, so that's really frustrating. And
Can we come to some kind of a agreement to fix it, or is there no fix, or let's, instead of pointing fingers, let's,
that light you were talking about, the lit stop sign,
lit on the stop ahead sign,
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
how visible is that when it's foggy? Cause the reason I'm asking is about 2 years or so ago, Banger's Corner, a guy called me up, his daughter ran that stop sign because it was foggy, and the rumble strips weren't there, or she didn't hear them. And she ran that stop sign and got T-boned. And I think we went out and made the rumble strips deeper than her, more evident. And that's why I'm wondering, it's gotta be something that'll work when it's foggy also.
Understandable?
Cause that poor girl just about died on that one.
Yeah. And something else you guys as a county might want to look at I actually spoke with someone with the Iowa Department of Transportation, and the majority of our stop ahead signs are actually located too far from the stop sign. They're supposed to be with, I believe 495 feet from the stop sign, and the majority of ours are over 900 feet. And they actually, say that, a driver can actually unintentionally forget what the notification is for in that amount of time in your thought process. So virtually all the stop ahead signs in the county are in excess of 900 feet. And the recommendation, which I have a ton of data if you guys wanna see, I'm not gonna bore you with data. I will say though that the rumble strips are not within specs. They're not placed properly, and I can get into that, but I don't wanna do that at this point in time. They're cut deeper, they're 225 feet, there's just a lot of things about them that they aren't within specs that the Iowa DOT actually publishes. So, I'm not gonna bore you with a bunch of data, but I just want you guys to know that virtually all of the stop limit signs in the county are within excess of 900 feet, and, right here's from the traffic and safety manual. On their diagram, a road that is 55 miles per hour, and the action that you're doing is to a complete stop is 495 feet. So, that's just something that I thought was kind of concerning in our county as well, so. And I guess where I'm going with that is, the rumble strip placement is based off of where the stop ahead sign is placed. So, in my situation, if the stop ahead sign was truly positioned 500 feet from the stop sign, that would be 400 feet farther, actually 425 feet farther from my house, the one that is right there, so.
Which rumble strip, what is there, 3, 4?
There's 4.
Which rumble strip is it that makes that causes all
The closest 2,
and that would be 1 and 2 from the stop sign, or 2 and 3 from the stop sign? Or 3 and 4?
they no longer put 3 in, they only put 2 in, 2 per side, 2 per lane. 3 was the old standard.
It'd be the north one, it'd be the closest to your place.
Correct, that one is 150 feet. Said I wouldn't bore you guys with data, but, I actually printed it off, I don't know what it is.
Keith or Mike, is there a solution? I mean, we gotta go by code. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but
No,
I'm trying to find a solution, and, you know,
so the rumble strip standard that we followed is the state standard, which is, you have stop ahead sign, and then you have an advanced stop ahead sign. The first rumble strip is supposed to be about 75% from that stop sign to the stop ahead. Then the next rumble strip is 200 foot in advance of the stop ahead sign. The rumble strip patch itself is about 25 feet of rumble strips, and they're grooves that are 3/8 inch deep. Mr. Trample complained about the first, the time. We did go out and we checked, we basically just got a scrap piece of 3/8 inch plate steel, laid it in each rumble strip, and checked it with a straight edge. We did find that there were 2 strips, and the rumble strip machine actually cuts 2 at a time. So the first pass that they made, it was about a 1/2 inch or 5/8 inch, it was deeper than 3/8. So we did fill in that first pass that the machine had made to bring it up to 3/8. The reasoning or the requirement for the rumble strips is in Osceola County Ordinance 48, which is the roadway design ordinance for Osceola County, which mandates that we have rumble strips at all intersections. And as Jason pointed out, these rumble strips were there before. Yes, they had been kind of filled in over the years with chip seal. About every 2 to 3 years, we go and recut rumble strips throughout the county. Because there was a project in play in that location, we didn't extend the effort to recut those rumble strips on schedule. We waited till the project was done, and then we recut the rumble strips in that location. To take them out, or you can't just fill them in, the patch would asphalt. You'd have to cut out the asphalt to, and relay probably concrete in our case, cause we don't really do asphalt patching. Flashing beacons is another type of advanced warning detection device like a rumble strip, yes. We have done flashing beacons in addition to rumble strips at some of our more problematic intersections, like the, 834 and Highway 59, where we had a major wreck, a fatality a couple years ago. There are requirements from the state for those in terms of materials and things like that. So against the state highways, you have to go through their procurement. They're somewhat spendy. Where it goes up against a county road, we use a lesser type of beacon. So that's what's going on. In terms of corresponding with Mr. Trample, we have corresponded with him at least 3 times. Mike has spoken with him twice. I've spoken with him on the phone once. It's the same answer has been given 3 times at the rumble strip.
That is incorrect.
That is incorrect.
That
I
is
have not
incorrect.
spoken with you on the phone.
I spoke to you on the phone because I called you.
Yes, you did call in, yes, and I've spoken with you on the phone, and Mike has spoken with you twice.
He spoke to me one time when I called him.
Once or
I
twice.
feel like I've talked to you twice, but
I'm not gonna get into
Yeah.
this, I'm not gonna, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Mike and I both spoke with Mr. Trample on this issue. I did not reach out to him on this, second time after we'd already made the decision that the rumble strips were within spec and would stay. And that's a failure on my part to not reach back out to Mr. Trample this last time.
Is there any recourse on who did the road improvement or overlay when the rumble strips were deeper, nearly double as deep?
We
as
did the rumble strips after the project, that was
That was
one of the
after.
forces that did that. Like I said, the whole 25-foot panel was not out of spec, there was 2 passes, two cuts that were too deep that we didn't fill in. The remainder of the cuts we checked and they were all 3/8 inch.
Here's probably my only concern, I sympathize with you, but if we would happen to, it's back to insurance and liability for me. If we would happen to have a wreck on Highway 9, somebody coming through there, and we didn't have rumble strips, I'm not sure how the county would be liable for that, you know, if somebody had a wreck. I'm trying to find a solution for you, but I don't know if there is one. If we moved them, would that help? I'm not sure.
If they were placed where they should be, it helped. So, I mean,
how far away would you like it, or?
I can't say how far, I wouldn't want them at all, but I can't say that. So,
Well, I'm just trying to find a
if we're going
solution.
back to specs and everything, I want them to be at specs, and my personal opinion is they aren't within specs. So, I mean, we're talking I can read a tape measure just as good as anyone, that's not 3/8 of an inch deep, is it?
It's closer, the right side's closer to half, but the left side's strong.
And I
I
understand there's
think
some
you said
irregularities.
that.
I understand there's some irregularities when you're taking a big saw blade into a road, but they are, go and look at them, they are aggressive, very aggressive. So, and the start of them is actually supposed to be 200 feet from the stop head sign, and when they're marked out, they were 225, they accounted for the 225 feet of the bar. And like I said, the stop head sign is 900 and something feet from the stop sign, and it's supposed to be 495 feet, so.
Well, with this location, it's not a long stretch of 55 miles an hour approaching a stop sign. You're on a shorter stretch. I guess I would ask for the engineer's office to review the specs and see if there are ways that we could shorten them up. I would be hesitant to remove them entirely, but if there are specs that would allow changing the location somewhat, I guess it certainly would be worth
I guess the
considering
question I had yet, your specs, I've never looked at the specs, but is that from the center of the road? Mike, can you tell me? Your 220 feet or whatever, or did you measure from the stop sign?
From the stop ahead sign, it's 200 feet to the center of the
Highway
rumble
note.
strip for the first one.
To the start of the
To-
bars.
Yes,
And they are 225 currently,
210 to the center.
but it's to the start of the bars. I'm not, like I said, I don't wanna get into the formality of the spec, I just want you to know that in my opinion, they're not within specs. And we can go measure, we can document, but but the beacon, the flashing beacon would obviously be a nice start if we could look into that, whatever, but then at that point in time,
I'm not against that, but I'm just in question of fog. Can you see it? That's my question.
I'll be honest, I'm not for the beacon. I've been on the ambulance for 25 years. A34 and 59 have had multiple wrecks with flashing beacons, people,
Yeah.
that they don't see them. You know, but that's my opinion on the beacons. I've covered up 9-year-old children there, and I didn't see them, people didn't see them.
Yep.
there have been other cases in other counties that they had, similar setups, and the county did other options. Southeast Iowa, I don't remember the case, but there was I believe a bypass came through, and then someone's residence, yes, they cut them in, and then the county reverted their decision to keep them, so there has been cases where this is not the first, so.
I guess I'm just after the safety side of it, is what I'm after.
Well, where do we go from here? Do you guys wanna look into options? What do you engineers think? Mike, got any ideas? Hate to put you on the spot, but
Yeah.
you know more about it than I do, so.
As far as like the rumble strips, if they're not in spec, whether they're 20 feet, out of spec or whatever, if it's just the point of making us move them for 20 feet and that does not help the sound situation, what you're really after, is that worth doing that then? I mean, we will, if it comes to that, which is no problem. But as far as a beacon, we have put them on Highway 59 as well, and they do light up very good in the distance, but as far as like the fog and stuff, I can't recall really noticing how well they light up in the fog. I haven't paid attention to that, but I just know like at night in the distance, when you're a mile away, you can really see them, but in good weather. I do know that I have talked with a highway patrolman when that accident, last one was there at Harding's Corner, Highway 59. Cause I went out to check to make sure all our signs and everything was in order. And I talked with the highway patrolman and I said, I think a beacon would be good here. And he says, a beacon, they've done them studies. There are studies where they have placed beacons and where they have helped and not helped. So it's not a catch-all for every situation. He wasn't a believer in beacons. He says people just don't pay attention, and you can have everything out there for them, and they're still can be problematic areas. So, I'm all for making things correct in spec. If we're out 5 feet, 10 feet, or more, we'll make it right. I'm speaking as that point, but.
In terms of the beacons, minor fog, they're fine. Heavy fog, you won't probably see on heavy fog. You can drive down Highway 9 and not even know you're at Lake Park until you're at the intersection of Lake Park when it's heavy fog. The beacons that we installed at the A34 and 59 last year, DOT operations opposed them. They didn't want them. We pushed for those to be added as a supplement to the rumble strips that were already there. Ultimately, they, if you're gonna pay for it, you can do it, but they did not want them. So, So those are our maintenance on Highway 59, we maintain those.
And with
As,
it,
as Mike said, you know, if the rumble strip, I just looked at the standard, it is 200 foot to the center, not the beginning of the rumble strip. But again, you're talking a 25-foot wide rumble strip, you're talking 10 foot, 5 foot, whatever that's not gonna make a difference. If there is this issue of they're 900 feet versus 500 feet, and I'd like to review that and see what that is that he's got. If they're out 400, 500 feet, then yes, we can look at resetting the stop ahead sign and the rumble strip. I ultimately don't know if that's really gonna make a difference, but if we wanna put them fully in spec, then yes, if they're that far out of spec, definitely we should redo them.
would the state object to putting those lit stop signs on Highway 9?
They would object just like they did at,
The stop sign is the state, it is not us.
at Highway 9.
At
The one
state.
at Northwest Boulevard is ours. They would object, but if we're paying and maintaining it, we can do it, just like we did at 59 and 834.
Where do you guys wanna go from here? Casey, you got any?
I was just gonna show you where I'm coming from, and I mean, I get it, safety is key, that's not what I'm not saying safety is not key. I just want you guys to know where I'm coming from and why I have this issue, so if you give me 1 second. Oh, sorry, I'm not prepared for this.
So the first rumble strip is based on a dimension of 75% between the stop head and stop. So if the stop ahead is wrong and we have to move the stop ahead significantly, that means both rumble strips get recut of each direction. So you're talking all four.
This is from my island in my house. And it's picked up with a cell phone. So, I mean, I can make it louder if you want to hear it, but it is very obtrusive, like very, very obtrusive.
You say all four, you're saying
The
two
ones going,
traveling,
the ones going
two traveling
south, are the ones that bother you,
There are ones.
or the ones up by Highway 9?
The two closest ones, so they're,
I guess I really don't
The
travel
two
that
closest
road.
ones are the advanced ones for each north and south intersection. So Mr. Trample's residence is roughly at the halfway point between Highway 9 and Northwest Boulevard. So it's the advanced rumble strips that are pretty much right next to his house.
I guess an additional concern then is, yeah, I guess my question, so you're talking both north and south travel would be considered and potentially altered.
Yes.
Does that then create a problem with the residents, your neighbors' residents?
they would still be plenty far. So,
And southbound travel, I'm just worried that stop ahead sign moves closer to the intersection and that moves the rumble strips.
That changes both rumble
Further.
strips. Both of them are related to the stop ahead dimension.
I'd like to see him review it further and
See
see
where we're
what
at on
that might look
distances.
like and both directions of travel.
Are you satisfied with that for now, Casey?
yeah, I just wanted to have some conversation about it because I didn't feel like I got, well, right, I mean, what I, as a county resident, what I feel like I'm entitled to, not entitled, but, you know, should be, like, there should be some dialogue versus just, and then crickets.
And I wanted to do a little more research and see what it was going to Spencer. So,
Fair enough. And I get it, if I was oblivious to that they were there prior, like I told you, I would not have put my house right there, that's why I positioned it where I was, so it's halfway from Highway 9, halfway from the south. The noise, like, everyone talks about the train, well, you're by the train comes by like 6 times a day, I don't ever hear it. The rumble strips, I hear every single car that goes by, so, anyways. Thank you guys for.
We'll do a little more investigation, thank you for your.
yep, thanks for
I
coming in.
appreciate your approach and what you
Yep.
shared.
Yep. Any other questions? Don't be afraid to holler.
Sounds good.
It is 10 o'clock. We have a public hearing on Osceola County zoning ordinance to include requirements for data center and consider approval of public hearing date, time, and ordinance for number 66, amendment of the county zoning to include data centers. I will open the public hearing. I'll take a Coke.
I never remembered it. There's one downstairs.
I'll be back shortly.
Mr. Chair, would you like me to give a brief synopsis?
Yes,
before you
please.
kind of public comment?
Yep, please.
Thank you. This item is becoming extremely topical across the nation as we see more and more data centers being built. So as a result, you know, we did a review of our zoning code, and our zoning code is pretty much silent on the matter. And because of that silence, if one were to come in, it would basically be up to interpretation by me as zoning administrator of kind of what category would fall closest. So I don't really want that kind of ambiguity in the code. I prefer to have a hard definition and define zoning areas if one were to come in. I must state, there are no applications for data centers at this time. We have only received general phone calls over the last half a year or so from consultant site selectors who are probably calling every municipality in the country just asking, do you have regulations? And the answer was no. So I asked the board, and the board has referred this item to the planning commission as part of our code. They would make recommendations to the board for modification of the ordinance. So the planning commission met this month actually, and actually no, I'm sorry, it was last month. And we went over three main topics. One was, let's get a good definition. Number two was, where would we decide to allow them if we were going to allow them at all? And the third aspect would be, what types of performance measures, criteria, requirements would we put on these things if they were to come in? The planning commission, we had a lot of discussions on the impact to the community. Generally, data centers, if you just do some quick broad brush research on these things, the main impacts that they have on the community is, you know, they take up an immense amount of land, but it's basically on utilities. It's how much water do they use in, you know, on your water utility, and then therefore on your aquifer, and also how much electricity do they use. These are massive buildings filled with supercomputers. They generate a ton of heat. So most of the utility requirement on these things is involved in keeping them cool. There's two ways to keep them cool. It's either water or air conditioning. If they water cooled, it's just like your car, it's a radiator type system. They're blowing hot air through radiators that are cooled by water. They can do things to try to not have losses to that water, keep it as a closed system, but in the end, they do still use a lot of water. On average, these massive mega centers that you hear in the news, they're basically equivalent to about 25,000 homes, you know, in terms of their water usage. And you know, we're a population of 6,000 people, so you know, 25,000 homes, 2.5 people per home, that's about 60,000 residents, you know, it'd be comparable. That's the efficient way of cooling these things. The inefficient way of cooling these things, when people are extremely concerned about water, is, well, they'll just go to electrical and just do air conditioning. Well, if they do air conditioning, it's equivalent to about 100,000 homes to do electricity use. So that's, you know, it's a small city. So then the main concern and pushback from that aspect comes down to, the data center may pay initially to upgrade, put in substations, do this, do that. Well, they'll cover the cost, but the main concern is that the utility still has to maintain that new infrastructure, and that gets passed on to all ratepayers. So people's utility bills go up is the main concern. So, you know, a lot of these got put in the last 5 years, and people are just now kind of realizing the impact to the communities. On the plus side, they are a very massive amount of expense to build in terms of construction industry. So there's a lot of profit to be made from the construction industries and areas. And then in the end, you're left with a very large, highly taxable piece of property. So they do generate a lot of property taxes, which can be game changers for small communities. So we discussed a lot of that. In terms of coming up with performance requirements, there's a lot of reporting, reports of how much usage they would burden on utilities and things like that, that we'd wanna see. There's noise concerns, you know, if you've got air conditioners running day and night, there's a lot of decibel output. There's also a concern brought by a resident that they can actually elevate localized heat temperature in the area just from all the power generation that they do. There can be localized increases in temperature. So those are things that we're still doing a lot of research on. But because, you know, the item is very topical right now, I felt it strongly that we should at least get a definition and a zoning location where they would need to appear. So with that, the planning commission did submit a report to the board with a definition. The definition essentially mirrors the state definition. The state already has a definition for data centers. I'll just read it for the benefit of people who are in attendance. A data center is a building or other structure rehabilitated or constructed to house a group of networked server computers in one physical location in order to centralize the storage, management, and dissemination of data and information pertaining to a particular business, taxonomy, or body of knowledge. A data center provides computer processing for uses including but not limited to cryptocurrency mining and artificial intelligence. Data center also includes the lease of a business facility leased by an entity operating a data center business at that location. Now that being said, I did think of one more item I maybe want to tweak on that definition with the board, would be that in addition to cryptocurrency and artificial intelligence, probably should add cloud computing to that. Everything is in the cloud nowadays. That cloud is not in the sky, that cloud is in a data center. So I would probably add cloud computing to the definition. The second item was where they should be allowed. And if they are to be allowed somewhere, should it be a principal permitted use or a conditional use? The only area that I suggested and the planning commission agreed would be appropriate would be a heavy industrial area. It should be noted that as it stands right now in the county, we don't have any heavy industrial area large enough to support one of these data centers. So, if one were to come in, it would require a rezone of a piece of property to heavy industrial, which would require public hearings at both the planning commission and the board of supervisors, and ultimately be the board of supervisors' decision as a ministerial act, or is that a legislative act? Legislative act to rezone a piece of property, which means you don't have to do it if you don't want to. Good reason, no reason, you can decide this isn't right for the community, we're not gonna rezone the property. That being said, then it becomes a question of, should it be a principal permitted use, or should it be a conditional use? A conditional use requires a further step of, once the property is zoned, it would then have to go to the Board of Adjustment. The Board of Adjustment would then make a decision on whether they would allow as a conditional use, and the same thing, public hearing and all that. The Planning Commission kind of felt that ultimately, if they're gonna go through all the effort of a rezone, and the Board of Supervisors is gonna make the decision to rezone the property, knowing that pretty much that's what it's gonna be for, that decision and that burden should really rely with elected officials and not unelected appointed Board of Adjustment members. So they suggest that it should be a principal permitted use in the heavy industrial or general industrial zone. The remaining topics of, requiring reports on water use, electric use, decibel requirements, investigating the heat island effect, if it does create one, those types of things. They wanna continue work on that and come back with you and, come up with another report, at a later date to kinda create that. Now, even without having that in code, that could still be requested, anyone requesting a rezone in order for the board to make an informed decision, say, we want this, 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 and this. It's always better if it's in code and says somewhere you want to do this, but even without it in code, you can still request it, and if someone balks at it, you could say, well, then I don't really have what I need to make an informed decision, the answer is no. So, but we do wanna continue working on that part of it. So with that, I'd be happy to answer your questions or allow public comment this time.
What do we have in the southeast part of the county by Lorches? Is that a mini data center?
That's like a pocket data center or something. It was permitted as a data collection facility for the assistance of the electrical grid for REC, and that's how we permitted it. I don't know how much of it is being used by REC and how much of it's being used otherwise, but it's not enclosed in a building, it doesn't use
It's like little pods.
They're like little trailers that they
Yes.
bring in, and they are dropped in right next to a substation type thing,
Yes,
so they're
so-
able to take advantage of the power there. I have heard from REC that they don't use as much power as REC expected, they were looking at, a good customer, high rate customer, they don't actually use as much. Mainly, I think it's because they're mostly air cooled. I don't think that there's enough servers and computers in those things to generate the heat, so they use it like a pod and air.
Well, Mike and I had investigated that, because we didn't know if there was real estate there or personal property.
What is that location?
Oh, no,
Is that by Tom Howard's?
Yes, yes,
Just north of Tom's there?
yeah.
Okay.
And
So,
again, this was a couple years ago before we really knew what data centers were, and they kinda slipped in as, it's a utility, it's an augmentation of the utility, so we permitted it.
so my first question, in just my own mind, is, okay, this is out in the field, and they got air conditioners cooling this, that's a dust problem. How do they keep the dust?
Are you talking about in general or this particular one?
No, the one that we have.
There are air conditioning units on it?
Well, all these little pods are full of air conditioners to
Okay.
keep things cooled down, I'm thinking that seems like computers and dust just don't work. Anyway, so that was just a personal thought I had, but we actually stopped at REC and talked to Sandy, and she said, well, they generate $80,000 a month in electric, have an electric bill of $80,000 a month. But they tell, whoever owns these pods, told REC that if you don't give us a good rate, we can pick up
Yeah.
and move. So in mine and Mike's mind, because we're out investigating, is this real estate or personal property, we're going, okay, if they're gonna pick up and move, if they don't get a good rate, this is personal property. So, no assessment, no real estate tax.
Yes,
And that's where I was coming from about this one, asking about that. You concur that they can pick up and move,
Yes, they
we're not
can.
assessing.
and one of the requirements that we're looking at with the planning commission is, and I've seen this in other ordinances across the country, is requiring that they are in a fixed building. Which then
Then
makes
it
sure
would be
you
real
can't,
estate and
that becomes
assessed,
real
yeah.
estate, so that becomes a requirement of a data center, is it has to be within a enclosed fixed building. And I would recommend that we do that, so that if one does come in, it has to be in a building, you do get the tax revenue from it. And that's at 1847 Warbler, is the location of that.
How big a building is it? I've never
It's
seen.
not a building.
I can't say I've seen them either.
It's like little semi-trailers.
Yeah.
Semi-trailers.
I can't say I've seen them either.
Yeah, but I never really paid much attention.
There, I don't know. The computers and
So ain't there people out there all the time?
I don't think so.
No?
No, I don't think so either.
Oh.
I don't
It
think
didn't
so.
seem like we could knock on any pod.
Didn't know they had such a-
I can send you a color picture of that if you want. There is also a data center that
I've seen
also snuck in at Dickinson County, just east of Lake Park as well. Again, at a substation location, right on Highway 9, there's a substation, and there's a nice little building.
I saw
And that little building has like a bunch of roll-up garage doors, like a
Yeah.
brown building, that's a data center. It's not a big one. But they were not aware of that either. So they found a way to sneak in a couple times, but everybody's starting to wise up to them now.
Do they have to get cleared with a line or REC, cause if they're gonna need a bunch of electricity, they certainly have to.
That's why they're going in kind of at substation locations. They become a customer of the utility company.
So they clear that with REC or a line,
Oh.
yeah,
Oh, yeah. The power companies like them,
oh, they do like them,
good customers, a lot of money,
yeah, but at the same time, you have to be able to handle that customer.
yes, yes.
Has there any more questions for,
So the taken that you mentioned, they pay for the upfront cost for utilities, but then the system has to absorb the
Someone has to
maintenance.
maintain that new
Is there an
infrastructure.
approach where they would, that you could require they handle ongoing maintenance of infrastructure provided?
That's been a concern in a lot of discussions and articles I've read around the country where people are trying to solve that, but it becomes a shell game of, sure, we're not charging you for that.
anybody else got a question? Go ahead.
I should've waited, are we doing public comment or, sorry.
Yeah, anybody, any public comment here? Any?
Interesting, yeah, interesting, learning a lot today.
Dawn used to work at REC, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. Next time I go to the lakes, I'm gonna look for them little ponds. But I do know the one on Highway 9 though.
The one on 9 is not pods, it's a little
It's a
building, it's a
building,
little
yes,
building.
yes, I've seen that before,
But I've-
but those pods, I haven't really noticed.
Yeah, you would think it's like a maintenance building or something, it's,
Yeah,
I
I've
go
never,
through Brewster, Minnesota a lot, and I see a lot of yards that got no data center on them. Signs,
the Nobles County has been in the news a lot lately. That was because there was one trying to go in Nobles County, and it was one of the big ones, it was one of the mega ones that was trying to go in. They were trying to go into an agricultural zoning district, and Nobles County was looking at changing their zoning code to allow them an agricultural zone. That's what failed. So, I don't know if they're gonna now pivot to request a rezone of the property to something that will allow a data center, or if it's dead, I don't know.
some farmers trying to cash in,
Sunrise,
It was Sanskard land,
Sanskar,
was it?
yes.
they pay like 6 times
Yeah,
Who
more than what the,
owns a lot of land in Osceola County too,
yes.
so.
Any other comments, questions?
did you wanna add to this yet before we,
I mean, I concur with the recommendation of the planning commission that we should get the definition and a zoning district, and then we've got breathing room. Some other municipalities around the region have done just outright moratoriums, and while they work on this, that's also an option, although I think we would maybe have to do a public hearing for a moratorium or something, it seems like they all did when they were doing. Well, Bryan just did a moratorium, as did Dickinson County.
Dixon County did too, yeah, I heard that too.
They both did it. They intend to have regulations, but they put in a moratorium while they work on theirs. I think the writing's on the wall that if we're gonna allow it anywhere, it's gonna be industrial.
So are you thinking we should let you guys finish and
I think-
put a moratorium on it?
I don't believe a moratorium is necessary, because I think that once we have a definition in a zoning category and without any land that would currently support that, there's plenty of deliberation that can be done during a rezoning process if one were to come in. I don't feel a moratorium is necessary.
Then I think the one in Dixon County said just a 6-month
6
deal
months,
or something.
6 months for now. If they're not done with their work in 6 months, they would extend it. And their planning commission did not recommend a moratorium. That was the board that did that.
I'm not so sure, I would like a moratorium, but I'm not gonna. We got some power in this with certain people. What you just said. But with this, what'd you call it, heavy industrial,
General industrial is the name of our zoning category.
that eliminates farmer or ag land?
That means it cannot be put in ag land. Ag land would have to be rezoned to industrial.
Okay, maybe I've changed my mind a little bit.
So as it stands right now, the closest zoning category or zoning definition that we have would be like large scale utility. That's the broadest definition that this would fall under. That is actually allowed in ag under a conditional use, and it's allowed in another category. There's two zoning areas that if you don't have a definition and we say, well, then this is the closest definition, then it could be allowed in ag under conditional use, which is a public hearing process, and one other location.
What about like co-op elevators that got,
Those are agricultural businesses, and those are in towns that are zoned industrial, generally. Like Allendorf
Yeah.
and, Melvin and things like that, those actually have industrial zoning, but they don't have enough vacant land that would support maybe a mini one.
alright, any more questions, comments? And I will close the public hearing. And then do we need to, vote on ordinance number 66?
I think we're going to.
I think we need to have a public hearing, the board needs to set a
Yeah,
public hearing.
is it 3 times?
Well, we have to have one public hearing, but you have to have, after that, then you have 2 considerations
Okay.
after that. So I think with this being, we
I
need to
think,
do
I think
it.
the plan was that if you're in support of this as what has been presented, then we will do a meeting with a public hearing on the ordinance. And I'd like to add that cloud computing to the definition that, from the report from the planning commission, but other than that, we would publish the ordinance with, before the next meeting.
I'm okay with adding the cloud computing language. Is that something that the commission needs to approve?
I don't believe so.
So then we take no action today?
Setting a date.
Setting the date for the next.
Yeah.
Ordinance, and accepting the report of the planning commission.
I appreciate their approach on choosing to make it a permitted, principal permitted use. Like their efforts in the process, but I agree with their, an elected position making the final call is.
It's a 2-step process.
Best approach.
When would we set the public hearing?
Well, the publication is 4/20, so we could have it as early as June 9th. If you wanted to, but Jason's gone that day, so.
Yeah, I'll be gone, but I'd like to see it put in place as soon as possible, rather than.
Let's do it,
Later.
June 9th, yeah.
Okay. Maybe we could do, 9 o'clock, I don't have anything
Okay.
going on that day. You give me the final wording and
I'll get you the ordinance.
it's too late for I just need it next week to put in the
Yep.
paper, so, okay.
Do you want a motion accepting the report and setting a date for the ordinance public hearing on
I
June
do,
9th?
yep, I do.
With the addition of cloud computing to the definition, please.
I will make that motion. Accept the report with the addition of cloud computing and setting the date for the ordinance public hearing for June 9.
Got a motion from Mattyhood,
Support.
support from Schulte. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, Keith.
We may never have an application.
But at least we got this if we.
Yeah.
I think it's smart.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yep.
And I'm not entirely opposed to them, but I want them
I think that's what the
treated appropriately and.
I think that's what having performance requirements and a rezone process would entail, is an informed decision whether you want one or not.
I'd like to thank you for thinking of it, cause I didn't.
And let me tell you, the moment you start researching data center, that's all your phone fills up with, is data center, data center, data center. And haven't seen a good article yet.
Sharon would probably like to see it, huh?
Well, it'd be interesting.
You know, if you could put one in a part of the county where it's not really going to impact anybody on noise or
Yeah,
or
right,
whatever,
find the spot.
find a spot, and utility wise, say they water cool it, but it's on the west side of the county where it's done by Lewis and Clark or something, where it's not our aquifer. Property taxes, I mean, maybe you can cite one somewhere, and maybe it's the best thing ever, who knows?
That'd have to cost a fortune, but you, Lewis and Clark water cooled.
I don't know.
I mean, my
What would be able to
water bill
handle
at
it.
home is through the roof, I can't imagine.
But the trouble is, we won't be able to use all that valuation anyway, if it would come.
You can on
Yes,
new
that's
development,
true.
new development,
development,
don't you get to add new development?
New construction.
New
construction.
But it's still
Would bump it,
102
but
though,
then you-
isn't it? Yeah,
No,
No.
new construction.
Maybe we can do
get
anything.
You can grow beyond the 102.
Yeah.
with-
that would be a good thing for our county, if that's gonna keep being a restriction.
That makes sense, is there, I wouldn't think so, but is there talk of the state of restricting their valuations, like windmills or?
Yeah, that's a whole,
Solar,
that's
I
an
mean,
ordinance,
that's
that's
the
by
other
local
thing I think
ordinance
that
though,
could- that could
the way we tax the wind towers.
Yeah, I don't think the state would come in and pull the rug out from under you.
That'd be my concern, but everybody wants AI, everybody wants it, you're gonna have to
Well, that-
generate
you're
this
gonna slow
somehow, I
that
don't
train
understand
down
this.
at all.
Everybody wants this,
Yeah, and cloud and storage,
yeah,
it's gotta be somewhere.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm old, I hate it all.
You don't trust any of it.
And I agree with you.
Okay, maybe not everybody wants it.
Anything else? Anybody got any other business, courthouse, committee reports, economic development, future agenda items?
I don't remember if I told you this the last meeting or not, but Hugh at Rides is retiring.
We did.
Did I?
I think you did.
Good. Hugh, he's the chief guy at Rides.
I just thank Keith for the heads up on the conversation that was had in their office recently with mowing and just, keeping that before us and getting the oversight of that would be good.
Open those cookies, you guys want the cookies?
You brought them, who did?
Yeah, Jerry did.
I did.
Yeah. That was nice
His,
of
his
him.
grandkids baked.
Yeah. Any more, any future agenda items? Anybody? You guys?
Just wondering if you're going to address my issues.
When I get some time.
Working on it. Can't be talked about right now,
Do we need to be put on the agenda? Or just?
I'm not
research?
sure.
To talk about
I
it.
don't know either.
I'll call,
Not to
we got a
call.
human resource guy, I'll call him.
Okay.
He gives us the advice on what we can and can't say and we'll kinda go from there.
I
I'll see what he
understand.
says. If you need to get on the agenda, then I will call you.
Okay, fair enough. Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks.
Now you're glowing with all the new information.
Anybody else got anything else? I wanna give you a comment. My wife was tickled to death you mowed the ditch. She said, those guys did a better job than I could do. She said. Anyway. If not, I would take a motion to adjourn.
You got it.
Motion from the board. Second. Support from Lauren to adjourn. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say fine. Thank you guys for coming.
I think that was